The Houston Texans have won the AFC South, coming off a huge win against the Indianapolis Colts, 23-19, Saturday night, prime time. And in the biggest game of CJ Stroud's young career, he went nuclear, 20 of 26, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. First play of the game, he throws a 75-yard touchdown bomb to Nico Collins. And on the last game-winning drive, he goes 7 for 7 for 82 yards, undergoing through so much adversity on that drive. There was a sack, making it a 2nd and 20, a holding call, making it a 1st and 20, and there's 2 people in Stroud's face, and it seemed like he was trying to throw the ball away, but Nico Collins makes a diving catch, and looking at another angle, it seems like it was very intentional from CJ Stroud, and he proceeded to drive them down the field. There's another great pass to Nico Collins, and Nico Collins, he really stepped up and showed us that he's the wide receiver 1 for this team, and we could stop the round 1 wide receiver mock drafts, but I mean, it would be fun to add another weapon on offense, but there are other places on this team that do need help talent-wise. But Nico Collins, he has been amazing. 9 receptions, 195 yards, 1 touchdown, and in a game where we needed everyone to step up, we were losing. We don't have Tank Dell anymore. We didn't have Robert Woods. We don't have Noah Brown. And Nico Collins stepped up, and he was huge, man. He shows a lot of passion after the run. What he does with the ball after the catch is really special. He's trucking guys. He won the Angry Run Scepter for week 18, and he's been absolutely great. It's been so good to see him emerge this season with CJ Stroud as his QB. And this Houston Texans team is very special, and they're such an exciting team to watch this year. They are the first rookie head coach and quarterback duo to win the division in NFL history. That's absolutely special. And they're the 5th rookie head coach and quarterback duo to even make the playoffs. And what's absolutely insane is that they were the last place team in their division, and they end up winning the division the very next year, and it's absolutely crazy. And what's even crazier is that this season marks the most sacks in franchise history with 46 sacks, and that's crazy even considering the JJ Watt era. D'Amico's mentality of Swarm has really made a difference for this team, and D'Amico Ryans himself is coaching his philosophy, and the defense has looked a lot better. I think it's ranked statistically top 4, and it could be a lot better too. And they did a decent job against Minshew this past game. He was only 13 for 24, 141 yards. They missed that crucial 4th and 1 conversion, and obviously that wasn't anything that the defense did really. It was just like a bad execution on Gardner Minshew's part, and Goodson, who was trying to make a play on that. Regardless, the Texans are in the playoffs. They are the 4th seed. They're going against the Cleveland Browns for the AFC wildcard game on Saturday, first playoff game of the weekend, and it's at 3:30 Saturday, and it's going to be interesting to watch the Texans, how they bounce back from their loss against the Browns earlier in the season. And obviously that game was going to be a totally different game. We didn't have CJ Stroud, we didn't have Will Anderson, we didn't have Blake Cashman, we didn't have Jonathan Grenard, and so this is going to be a completely different game than we saw last time. Obviously, Joe Flacco is notorious for performing really well in the playoffs, and it seems like he's on this like magical run. But the Texans are also on some magical run. It feels like a very special team. I'm excited to see what happens. This Texans team, they really stepped up when it mattered against the Colts, and even though the run defense allowed JT to go for 30 carries, 188 yards, and a touchdown, they kind of stepped up more in the 4th quarter, but also that combined with Jonathan Taylor's heel injury could have both resulted in the Colts run offense not being as good. Also, I wanted to point out that the Texans had 11 penalties this game, and I believe that's a season high, and that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if it was the crowd noise. Obviously, Indy was very loud. There was like plenty of false starts. Tunsil, looking at you. We definitely got to clean that up, especially in the playoffs against the Browns. We can't afford to keep beating ourselves up. And we only got 1 sack and 3 quarterback hits, so we weren't able to generate enough pressure on Minshew at all. And maybe that's because we didn't have Grenard. And also I noticed that Will Anderson wasn't really out there for a lot of the snaps. He was just on there on like major passing downs and things like that. So hopefully he can continue to rehabilitate his ankle, get that right for the playoff game, and hopefully we get Jonathan Grenard back because he's our sack leader with 12.5 sacks. Really hope he comes back in this offseason. It's crazy how we somehow ended up winning, because I was really worried for a second. We couldn't get the run game going for the most part, sometimes mostly negative yards, but Singletary was able to pick up a couple of first downs on a couple of occasions, and he did get that last touchdown. The defense did come up huge when it came to 3rd down. The Colts were 1-11 on 3rd down, and Michael Pittman was pretty quiet, and that's credit to Derek Stingley covering him for the most part. And And looking at the game of the Dolphins versus Bills in Week 18, it's kind of crazy how CJ Stroud didn't make it over Tua. I mean, Mahomes, I get he's like the darling of the NFL, but over Tua though, I don't know. It seems like CJ Stroud had a great season, and maybe it's because he's a rookie, but also Derek Stingley, I feel like he should have definitely gotten a Pro Bowl nod. I would have definitely given it to him over Jalen Ramsey. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what this Texans team does in the playoffs. And even if they don't win, I'll still love them. But it would be nice to somehow get a playoff victory under our belt. And the Browns team is a very strong opponent to go against. I mean, their defense is, I think, the best defense in the league when you got Myles Garrett and you got like some of the best corners in the league. So we got a lot of respect for the Cleveland Browns. They're definitely a good team, but CJ Stroud, anything's possible with that guy at the helm. And he's 7-3 against teams with a winning record. And his first 2 losses came in the first 2 weeks when he's, still trying to figure out the league, against the Ravens first week and then against the Colts. And then after that, he only lost to the Jaguars, which was a kind of rigged game. Honestly, there's refs wiped out a lot of our plays going in our favor. So honestly, you could say since week 2, Stroud is 8-0 basically since week 2. But obviously there's a lot of asterisks involved in that because we didn't actually win. But regardless, I'm super excited for this playoff game, and I know NRG Stadium will be packed as it should be, and I'm excited to see if we make some noise in this playoffs. But once again, let us know what you guys think about the Texans matchup against the Browns. Drop a score prediction in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.